All right. Yeah, looks like we got sound. That wasn't too loud to readjust the microphone there. So the way. All right, so jumping straight in tonight, basically what I'm doing is working on fixing the James Webb Telescope project. So this is a project from a couple of weeks back for the mag tag, and the data source is gone now. So this is data source we were using was basically the test server or the preview server, demo server, if you will, for this project here, which is, I think Node.js, I'm not sure exactly. JavaScript maybe. But this is the project that basically would scrape this NASA page right here, which actually looks different now than it did the last time we did this. If you're interested in the history of this project, I did stream a bunch while I was working on it, so you can find some of the older videos where I would have been doing this, and you can see the old version of the page as well. And basically what happened is the telescope made it to where it was going. It's at, what, L2 orbit, and so it's not really moving anymore, and a bunch of the purpose of the previous page was documenting, like, how far it had gone and how far it had left to go and stuff like that. So now, we know how far it's gone. It's not really changing anymore. Well, it's in orbit, I guess, so it's moving, but it's not like really going further or closer to its destination. So that kind of information isn't quite as useful anymore, or interesting, I should say. I'm sure it's still useful. But now they do show some extra temperatures. I know we had a couple of temperatures. I think some of these other ones are different readings that we didn't have on the old version. So they have a couple of different pieces of data, and this time around they have a JSON data source. So this is straight from the NASA source, nasa.gov. Thank you to Scott, by the way, figured this out, found this, and linked me to the data here. Okay, let's see here. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Let's see here. I will put a warning, I think, for 720 alpha. Yeah, so Seagrover, thank you to Seagrover also, just brought up something else to my attention, which is that the new guide, which got published today, got published today for the Nico Kitty. So check out this Nico Kitty. This is another one I did some of the work for this on stream, so if you're interested in this project, you can see the previous videos when I was working on it. This actually does use something that is new from CircuitPython. It will be 7.2 when it gets released, but it's in beta or alpha, I guess, still right now. Portal. So 7.1.1 is the released version. 7.2.0 alpha 1 is the upcoming version. This is the alpha version. This actually has a feature in it that we are using in the Nico Kitty. Actually, why don't we not put a warning? I guess we could use the fallback code. sorry. So yeah, basically Seagrover and I are just talking about what we could do to fix it. And in this case, so I did mention a minute ago, maybe we could put a warning like it has project setup, you know, plug it in. If you need to, then install CircuitPython. We could put a warning right here that says like you need to use, you know, at least 720 alpha 1. So make sure you get that one. But in this case, the new feature that it's using, it's not actually, it's not critical, I guess you could say, to the project. Let's pull this up to Nico. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's not what we want. Did I change this already? No. Okay. Why does it think it's saved? Yeah. Okay. Probably. Maybe we could have just closed the file and reopened it. Okay, so just click, I guess. Yeah, here we go. Nico. Find with dot tile. This is the new feature. So this is a feature on tile grid. This allows you to look up the tile width, which you have to set when you create the tile grid. Previously, you were unable to look it back up after the fact. And I actually added this. This is one of the things that I added to core so that I could use in display IO widgets. But it is new. It was not in 7.1.1, which means that if you try to run this code in 7.1.1, it will not work. It will crash. With an exception that says this thing doesn't exist. But we could... what can we do? We can... Let's see. Well, what I would like to do is use it if it exists, but fallback if it doesn't. Maybe it's not worth it in this case. Yeah. Yeah, maybe it's not worth trying to keep it. I used it partially because it was new and I added it, and so it was just something to test with. Basically what this is doing is allowing us to not have to hard code 32, which happens to be the size of our sprite, the cat sprite. But if you change this project and you had sprites of a different size, if you substituted in your own sprite sheet, like I'm sure there are other sprite sheets of cats out there, you could substitute in your own. If it happened to be a different size, you would need to change this number if you can't look it up off of the tile grid like this. So like we can change it to hard-coded, but then in the event that you change like that, you'd have to then go and change it. I think this is where it gets set ultimately, which is already hard-coded, right? But yeah, maybe it's not, maybe it's worth just maybe it's worth getting rid of it. I was probably eager to use it since I had added it recently, but it is a bit down the road, and it's better and less complex to just change it to hard-coded like the size. I'm trying to think of a way we could have, like, if it exists, use it. If it doesn't, then fall back to the hard-coded size, but it's going to make the code more complex than it needs to be. We could make a new property on this. I don't know, maybe it depends on how Python treats like overriding properties. I don't know if it works like this. Maybe it does, and I just don't know it. What I want to be able to do is I would like to give this class, Eco Animated Sprite, I would like to give it tile width and tile height properties and have it use those when it gets called, if it's this kind of object. And then within those properties, I want it to call to the tile grid tile width and tile height properties. So it'd be like self.tilegrid and tile height like I did down here. But I don't, if I override it, then it would call itself. I don't know how to make sure that it will call the super one. I could give it a different name, but then like code gets more complex. The changes are more substantial changes. Tile width 8 times. Tile height 8 times. I guess let's just do this, I think. Let's go. File size. Ours happens to be the same width and height. Maybe we should still make them both, though. Guess they will be. In case they like, it could be different in a different sprite sheet. You could have non-square. You could have rectangular. Okay. We'll just do this for now, though. This will give us 32. We can substitute it in for all the places we used these. Well, okay, it's on self because I put it inside the class. Okay. This. Okay. We should test it real quick. Sorry, we got off track a little bit here, right? Started on the telescope. This should be a quick fix though, and I think it's good to unbreak it for people who have 7.11, which is the latest release. So I'm happy to take a minute to fix it. So PyPortal is plugged in. Winamp project, that's what we're working on most recently. So let's do this, right? Let's go code all of this. Ready? Don't have one. Let's go new code. So one thing is the rotation might be messed up. Up here. Ah, right, okay, so we'll need the sprite sheet. I must have deleted it. I'm running out of space on my PyPortal, so I've been deleting a couple of things. Yeah, okay, yeah, so the rotation's going to be messed up. I don't know if that's going to throw off any of the other math. I'm just going to go ahead and fix that by reset button. Yeah, look, it's running off the edge of the blue, which is interesting. We should make the background code. We should make it not depend on the size. Well, depending on the way you want to think about that, that's maybe backwards. We should make it depend on the size of the display. I think probably it's hard-coded to some multiple of 320 by 240 because I used a smaller bitmap and then a group to scale it. Yeah, so this seems good. Let's put our PyPortal on 711. Yeah. Double reset. That. All right. Seven one one. I know we still have it. 7 6. Yeah, sure do. Oh, because it's Nico and not self. There we go. Maybe. Huh. It took a minute, didn't it? I mean, I guess it's random. Long as it sits there. Like it was that long. Okay, that one was much shorter. That seems fine. Okay. I think we're good here. Set it one more. Oh yeah, that time it took off almost immediately. Yeah, I think it's it uses a similar choice role as it does to some of the other things to decide when it's going to start moving. What's up, buddy? All right. Thank you to Seeker for this, for letting me know about this. Yeah, I should have not used that since it was not in the release yet, or I should have mentioned it in the guide. But honestly, this is better. We should just let it work on the current release. In this case, the upside we get from it is kind of like futuristic. If they change the sprite and if it's a different size, then they get a little bit of benefit by not having to change a couple variables, but it's not that big of a benefit, and it's you know, they have to already do all of that, all the rest of that. They're going to be changing a bunch of other things anyway. So we should make a PR with this change, and we should copy the updated one from the device back to the repo, because I changed those other two or whatever instances. Look at our changes. Okay, width, height, all those. Okay. Update Nico cat for 711. Cat for 711. Oh my god. Oh. Okay. Can you reuse a branch? What happens if I use a branch that was already merged from? That's right. Request is like one-time shot, like intrinsically linked with main. So one thing I didn't do is like start from main, which I should have. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. So I just pushed to that. Here's what I'm gonna do. Well, I already have it on the pipe portal. I'll just copy it back in. So I'm gonna make a new branch. Make a new branch. Get. We're gonna fetch. We're gonna fetch Adafruit. We're gonna update main. Quick. We're gonna go get checkout B Nico version fix. Oh, main. And then I'm just gonna copy it back. No. Oh, I didn't do no track. It means that's like using Okay, one more time. Like not mine, probably. I think this is data for the version 5. Huh. This is not in my history. That's weird. Track. Okay, one more time. Eco. I accidentally press C again. There we go. Okay. Tile. It was added after. All right. Okay. Back to what we're doing. Mag tag. James Webb Telescope. Data source is gone. We have a new data source now. It's directly to NASA. Here. So we're gonna change it over to use this. Steps. Oh. Okay, steps. These are must be like things it's gonna do. Stuff. Maybe. No. Recently completed. There we go. Where those get used. Okay. So first thing is we can let's switch back to the mag tag, and then we can just start fetching the URL that works, and then update the code that is pulling the data out to change. I suspect it's in different fields now. I don't know that for certain, but probably. Control C, otherwise it's just going to sit and fail in a loop over and over when it tries to fetch the old one that's no longer active. We're going to find the URL, which should be up here somewhere. Have fake data. Here's the URL. So, new one. Right, so this one. So this is this is a trick that JavaScript does sometimes, where inside your browser, when you request something, in this case JSON data, your browser can cache the data, and then the next time that the browser requests the same data at the same URL, then it might use the cached one instead of actually fetching the real one from the server, which is nice in some cases because it saves the page from having to fetch data that it already has stored locally in the cache. But in our case, of course, we want the latest data. We always want the newest data. And so what I've seen done with JavaScript before is this thing here where we're appending different values. As long as we append a different value every time, it doesn't matter what values we use, as long as they're different. And so oftentimes what I've seen used is a just a counter, a millisecond counter since epoch or seconds or something, which it looks like is what this is doing. Thing is, on the microcontroller, though, we don't necessarily have that. Do we? Does the mag tag know the time? Import, I don't know, date, no. I don't know if it knows the time. Import UTC, import, oh, gotta spell it right. No. Time zone? I don't know. This is Django, though. I don't know. I mean, there's import time, but I don't think that. Local time, timed out local time. Okay. Correct time. Okay. Yeah, so this is not real time. This is basically epoch, but it starts at 2000 instead of 1970. Which means you're way less likely to always have different ones. Like you would have, if you restarted the mag tag, you could reuse the numbers if we used that. But I'm thinking maybe it doesn't matter for us, right? We don't have a browser on the mag tags, so like there's nothing. There shouldn't be anything caching the data. Like this is a workaround because the browser does that to save bandwidth, loading time and stuff. Someday, eventually, some part of the CircuitPython internet stack could do that for you, but I don't think anything does today. So if we just fetch this over and over again, I think we should always be getting the latest data in CircuitPython, like getting the latest data that the server is serving. If the server doesn't change, like this says, oh, well, this is launch date though. We don't actually have the server, like time. A lot of times the API will return the time that it thinks it is. We don't have that here though. We have just temperatures. We don't know, I guess. If I refresh, I think everything stayed the same, but who knows? Maybe this updates every couple of minutes or something. I have no idea how often it updates. I think we'll always get, well, and for me, it might not be updating, I guess, in my browser here as I press F5, especially because I turned off my F5 script that tries to make it super refresh every time. I don't see any changes. I think we can just use this, and I don't think we'll have the same problem. Copy. This on, paste. Ooh. Why can I like minify it? How do I get it all into one line? Because here I have this. I feel like maybe there's going to be some reason this doesn't work. Okay. Okay. Current state steps. Current state. Yeah, only 2 usages are the new stuff. We did not previously get data from there. So let's look at value. Let's look at where we're populating data. Test run, fetching data from, get the response. Yeah, I have a vague recollection of this. I should have probably left a comment that explained why it was needed. Something... we cut something out. This is something, this has actually been one of the unexpected sort of interesting side effects of streaming is there's been a few times where stuff like this has come up and I've gone back and found the stream and figured out what the reason was, because I probably solved whatever problem this was on stream. Something to do with large numbers, maybe? We edited... Yeah, I think... Yeah, okay, it's coming back to me. So here's the difference. I couldn't spot it before. After the colon, there's not a double quote here, but there is here. We're adding double quotes because we needed to try to get it to treat a float like a string. Or if we're gonna have the same problem now. I think we had the problem because it was a very long distance Earth km. Elapsed time. We made this into a string. I think it's because it was so large was part of the issue. Maybe we have a lot of floats in the new data source. Oops. But none of them are that big. Maybe we're okay. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. One thing is we shouldn't need to do that anymore, though, so that's nice. Okay, elapsed time, so we don't have that anymore. We have launch date time string, but we don't have elapsed time since then, so we just won't be able to set that anymore. Hey, get down, buddy. Come on. Come on. Distance from Earth we don't have anymore. So let's fix the ones we do have and then worry about replacing the other ones. Percent complete we don't have, speed we don't have, timestamp we don't have even. Temperature values we have. So they used to be data temp C, temp warm side 1C. Now they are current state steps temp warm side 1C. Current state, is that right? Yeah. Steps. And then temp warm side 1C. Yeah, that's good. Find replace, I guess. Okay. Try like this. So we failed the first one. Sometimes we fail requests. That's just how it goes. Had built-in contingency. Failed the get request, so we rebooted after 3 seconds, which allowed us to retry everything, reconnect to the network, retry the fetch, do everything again, basically. 5 minutes sleep time. Where we printed that. Must have maybe just added this for something to print at the beginning. There's another thing maybe I could go back, watch the stream. We are like in a very long time. I remember about this. Maybe we should update the mag tag. Oh yeah, this is on 700. We should definitely update the mag tag. Let's do that. I'll go 711. Let's do the release. I think I mess this one up every time. There we go. Yeah, I remember the trick. You can press it while the lights are on. The cadence on this one, for whatever reason, feels a little bit different for me, and I had trouble getting the double tap reset. But somebody, I don't recall who it was, somebody tipped me onto the tip that you can. It changes the LEDs on newer versions of UF2 CircuitPython. I'm not sure. On newer versions of something, when it's in the zone that you can reset it to get to the bootloader, it makes the LEDs, I think, purple or something. So if you press reset when you see it as that color, then it works pretty well consistently. Even for me. And I had trouble doing it before I learned that trick. Okay, so we're pasting this. There we go. Good. Let's back here. Never really did print anything else. Nope, sending request failed. I'll try a couple times. And this is part of the deal. It may fail a couple of times. That's why we have it set to retry after a couple seconds. So this does so by rebooting itself. It's like programmed as a single shot program to run once and then go to sleep. So when it fails, it just reboots the whole thing. That'll let it reconnect to the network and do everything again. Nice. Or if the server wants us to have that unique string. Usually, I mean, that's a thing usually used to trick the client side, the browser, basically. Oh, though, we are getting fairly long wait here. Fail less quick this time. This one failed pretty fast. Let's click. This opens up this page, which is the data. Blinding as it is. So the URL works here without the extra stuff. It should be fine. Thinks it's getting connected. And I actually have it set to 5. I think one of the most recent things I worked on actually was somebody had noticed an issue with the deep sleep, I think. I think maybe I set this really low. I was trying to investigate that a little bit. Yeah, the guide, I think, recommended either you could do 1 hour or you could do 1 day. To wait in between fetching new ones. And I had changed this down to 5 seconds because there was an issue with the deep sleep. I was trying to troubleshoot it a little bit with this project. I don't know, it seems like it's taken quite a while. Retesting the other day. I guess that was ESP32 SPI stuff. I think something the other day where we had long request times, but ESP32 SPI stuff, yeah, because it was the libraries. It doesn't use very many libraries. It's mostly the networking. It's mostly built in. I guess there's requests. Get requests, maybe? It was working on the previous. I mean, it was definitely working because it had data on it when I picked it up today. Work up. Okay. Oh. For some reason we have the ESP32 spy library on here. We really don't need it. I probably accidentally pasted that at some point, trying to paste it onto a PyPortal. So let's delete that. We don't need it. And if somehow it gets imported or something, it could not work how this device is expecting. I'm not actually, I don't have control right now. Control C is not doing anything. So I did update my code because it didn't print this time. Never said connecting. I think maybe because it just booted up, it maybe printed this before the REPL got connected. The request failed. Yeah, see, here we go. This time we got connecting. The thing is, I could try switching access points. Sometimes I have luck switching back and forth between a couple. Mysteries of Wi-Fi. I don't know if it's just like a placebo effect or whatever. Give it a couple more tries here, and then I'll that or we'll right here. Okay, tell you what, let's do this. Here. Yep. Let's go this stuff, copy into here, paste. Put it here. Save. Just back all the way up to request simple test to make sure everything goes smooth there. So I'm going to be back in this state where I'm not actually connected. Thanks, we connected and got an IP. Sending request failed. Okay, one more, and then I'll say P, see if that here. I'll say sometimes it's rough. Like you want to go fix one thing, you end up down the rabbit hole a little bit, like we are here. Port Wi-Fi and socket pool. It works on the mag tag. Oh, there we go. Finally came through. But then as soon as the first one succeeded, everything else finished like almost instantly. This feels familiar. Hey, leave that alone. Hey, hey, hey. Say hi, buddy. Oh. Here, settle down. The old cat on the lap. I don't know if I actually got him into frame or not. Try to hold him up for a minute. Chilling in the lap now. So, oh, we failed again. I'm gonna change it. Let me do this over here. I'm wondering if possibly requests has an issue. So something, what was the last thing? It was something like implementing a, I wish GitHub would be higher in the results. Pull requests we were looking on recently was like, no, this is unrelated stuff. Fallback types, importing. I don't know. No, I think maybe I'm actually getting my wires crossed again and I'm thinking of ESP32 SPI. Let me do this over here. Oh. So I am in that state where Control C is not going through. It's almost like while it's fetching. Okay, it did finally though. It did eventually catch up. It's like while it's fetching, we have really not very much input. It's like it's working and consuming. Okay, so it went way faster this time. Must have, because it's already done. Yeah, only like 4 seconds. Okay, there we go. Everything seems to be working normally now. Let's switch it back up to telescope. Save it. Switching networks. That's what I did, was switch networks. Maybe that helped it out. Maybe we just started getting lucky. Build request. Build the camera, I guess, but there's really nothing to see. It's just showing the REPL for now. Like it draws the first time after it fetches. Surprised. Got this cat in my lap still. I'm surprised he's hung out here this long. He runs off before too long. So one thing I want to do is try. There he goes. So I'll try the beta. I haven't heard of any issues that would be related to this, I don't think. Worth a try, although that is kind of how we got ourselves into trouble with the other one, using the beta release. Actually download. Okay, so 2 things. These both say 711. Also, they show different sizes. Did I not click? Okay. I just didn't. Right one. Go alpha. It's never succeeded or failed. It just stuck. It just stuck for at least this long. So I'm gonna Control C a couple of times and give it a maybe 30 seconds or something to see if it will let itself get interrupted. If it doesn't, then I'm gonna just hit the reset, install 720, and see if I have any better luck with that version. It's unclear to me, like, if we have a problem fetching the data from this URL. Seems like it's working fine when we do it from the PC. Don't really see any reason why it would have any trouble from CircuitPython, but we haven't got a successful fetch yet. It's been doing sending requests failed and getting kind of hung like this, but it got hung like this kind of on the simple test as well. But then it seemed to kind of catch back up after it completed the first one. First one took like a minute or two at least. And after it did that, it kind of plowed through the rest of them real quick, and then it seemed like we were able to get a couple more successes relatively fast afterwards. Then I switched back to the URL here. We got the one fail, and we got this hung state where Control C doesn't go through to it. All right, so we're gonna go reset. All right, so one thing we'll try, if we still don't have success, is we'll go back to the simple test again, and then I'll plug in this JSON URL into the simple test. We'll have it just do that fetch, that request by itself, none of the rest of the telescope project. That way we can rule out like anything inside the telescope project having any effect on it. But still try to get a clean test on that URL. Hopefully right after we get a successful test on one of the simple test ones. Maybe we can have it do two, do the real one and then ours. I think it does a couple of things already. We failed the first one. Rebooted. Failed again. Failed again. Is there like a bug equals true? And if so, is it gonna like... Does it not want it to? Almost feels like we're maybe just failing, like it's... I'm out of 30. So I mean, the project as it was pointed to that other web service which disappeared. I think we were getting a similar outcome as this. And in that case, it was because the server was returning an error. I wonder if the server is just returning an error here. I don't know if we can have this. Move this over here, actually. I don't know if that exists, and if it does, what it's going to print, so. Unexpected keyword argument debug. Doesn't exist. Not going to print anything. I was hoping maybe we could get a little more details on like what failed. Just have print E, and all it was saying was failed get request. Oh, no. All it was saying is sending request failed for E. Maybe we need the question mark? I mean, I up here without that and it seemed fine. Web stuff is like sometimes like interesting. We have the decimals. That will help it be more unique. I wonder if the server will get mad for having decimals. Seems okay. Okay. I don't know. Doesn't seem like it's going to succeed, so here's what we're going to do. We're going back to simple test. Did I ever make that PR for Nico? Did, right? Why this is being so stubborn? Oh, what am I doing? Perfect. We're in another one of those long ones. So I wonder. Is this a result of me saving the file while the network request is running? And then when I do that, that's when we get to this stuck state? That's a good theory, maybe. Because, yeah, now I'm back to this Control-C, Control-D don't do anything. And I think every time I did that before, I had edited the code while it was trying to run a request. We have some kind of problem with that. Alright, well, I'm going to reset button it. Request failed. Yeah, we are fetching JSON from something. I'll just replace the yeah, all that stuff succeeded. So I'll just replace the JSON fetching with get URL. Get JSON. Now the first thing is fetching text, and then the next thing is fetching JSON from our NASA server. Got sending request failed. Let's see if we consistently get that in here. In this case, we're also, I mean, this is getting treated as text, but it happens to be JSON. It's failed. Seems like we fail reliably. I don't know. I'm at a bit of a loss. I wish we could get more information out of the error. Verbose, debug. So it looks like we have a couple of built-in retries. And ultimately, this is where our fail message is coming from. Alright, so we're going to cut this down to just these two. And I will ask for help. I don't know. Ask if anybody else is able to get a successful completion. I don't know really what else to try at this point. I mean, it seems like I consistently fail in this exact way, and we don't get any further details. Okay, let's try. This should not have any effect. This was 21 days ago. 8 days ago, but there's no release yet. $11 days ago. That is 21 days ago, which is when the release was made. I mean, it's like, it's not, requests can't just be broken, right? Because first one is succeeding. Let's even do JSON. The only difference is this, I guess, right? I'm gonna let this one run again, even though I have another change queued up. Changes this to not print text, but all right. While that's running, I'm gonna grab a different. Okay, so we succeeded the first one finally. There we go. One, but then now it's doing the NASA one. Sending request failed. I'm gonna grab a different ESP32. Alright, so what we're gonna do is save that, copy this, put it in here, unplug the mag tag, plug in the funhouse. Funhouse also has ESP32 S2. So now we go back to here. Take code, put it to Nico. So now we have the updated one actually, but that's all right. All right, so first one succeeded, one failed, same thing. This is 720 alpha. I don't know if that's the official alpha, or if I built this maybe for some reason, 120. Just another thing we could try is like absolute newest. There's something fixed in main that could help us. I wonder, like, if we're receiving anything at all back from the server, like if we're receiving an error code or anything, or if we're just not receiving anything from the server. So this time the first one took quite a while, but then the second one did fail. So I also brought a Metro ESP32S2. Okay, so we'll update to absolute newest. Well, I guess I must have been on some sort of absolute new from the 20th before. And that time it looks like it failed the first one. Like we failed the first one again, actually. Okay. There we go. We succeed the first one, fail the second one. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like something about this URL the CircuitPython does not like for some reason. I cannot. Icon, that shouldn't matter. Action keep alive? Is that a problem? It's trying to like stay open or something? This one succeeds sometimes. So I don't know if it could cause trouble or not, but this is at least one difference. In the response headers here, can we have both of these open? Can I just have both of these? No? Okay. Can I have another one? Separate window? By itself, can we have another one? So accept ranges bytes, that's a difference. Connection keep alive is a difference. Create insecure requests. I noticed this shows version 1.1. Also, this one shows version 2 HTTP. Date has a capital D instead of a lowercase d. Server also. Web server 1.0. Sounds fake. Same origin. Same origin. Okay. I'm pretty much stumped. So what I'm going to do is ask help in the Discord. I'm going to put this. Public. Tries to fetch data from two different sources. Data from different sources, but my mag tag funhouse is always failing. Second request. Ever it to succeed. Curious. Does successfully return for anyone else on a SP2 device. So I'll crop this with these things, that way you can see the URLs. Being different response headers. Alright, well, I think that's really all I can do right now. I don't really know why it's failing. Once we can get it to succeed, then we can update the project to use the new data source. But if it's not going to succeed for me, I can't really update the project yet. Let's check in on the check in on this, and then I think I'm done messing with this for a little while. But oh, looks like it got merged probably. I think I'm done with this for a while, but I do have something else fun that I want to do, which I think will be nice. This will be a nice change of pace, and it will be something cool. Something cool to do after a little while of somewhat frustrating troubleshooting with the web stuff here. Something here, okay. Yeah. See if there's, doesn't look like anything mentioned. Approved and merged, okay. Let me let cgrover know. And thank them again for pointing that out. Let's see Grover know. And okay, the other thing I want to play with, which I think will be really cool, this is some work that Kmatch is doing. So for folks that don't know, Kmatch is kind of like partners in crime on a lot of display IO stuff with me. Kmatch did a lot of the work in the display text library. Kmatch made the bitmap label, which is kind of like the stock standard label that I use for pretty much everything. Kmatch has made a bunch of other display IO widgets and things like that. So always working on really, really cool stuff. Recently, they submitted this PR that and posted a video of it that allows you to Adafruit CircuitPython. This allows you to split the screen between the REPL and display IO. Ordinarily, in current normal versions of CircuitPython, you either have the REPL showing, like the serial output showing, this terminal thing, you either have that or you have display IO. That's kind of it. You don't really get both. It's not possible to do both currently today, but Kmatch has submitted this PR to make it possible, which I think is awesome. This idea of splitting the screen and being able to have a live updating display IO canvas on half of the screen and essentially a REPL, input output on the other half of the screen. This could be really, really helpful for teaching folks the basics of display IO, I think. Some folks, just learn nicely in the REPL. The REPL is a nice interactive environment of entering a thing and seeing the results of it, and some people just learn really well that way. And this would give you the ability for those people to learn that way, things related to display IO. You can already do things in CircuitPython like, digital IO and PWM and tones and LEDs and, sensors and all kinds of things. You can already learn all of these things using the REPL. This gives you the ability to learn display IO using the REPL back and forth with text output as well, which I think is awesome. So huge props to Kmatch for having this idea, for implementing it so quickly. They were just talking about this, I think, during the meeting like this week or last week, and they already submitted a PR for it. So this is amazing work. I think this will be a really super cool thing to have. I'm excited to play with it, and so what we're going to do is build this, put it on our PyPortal, and take it for a bit of a test spin here. So I will go back, yatmel, what do we have? Build, let's do make board PyPortal clean. Provide equals. Okay. Fetch Adafruit. This might take a minute. Oh, nope, done already. Doesn't seem to. Okay, now list, GHPR list. Kmatch 5954, GHPR checkout. 5954. Wrangler. Atmos AMD. So now we're gonna go make board PyPortal. All right. While that's building, I'm gonna unplug the funhouse, plug back in the PyPortal. Have our very cute Nico cat, which if you have watched this whole stream, you're already familiar with, because we went down a small rabbit hole earlier to fix this. If you tuned in after that, though, this is a cute little animated cat project that will just run around your display and follow your finger. Wherever you touch, it will put a little laser dot that the cat will chase after. Did some work on that earlier. But for now, I guess we're waiting on this to build still. I'm going to go ahead and put it into bootloader mode. We'll tap reset. Would be nice for replicating the REPL and plotter functions of Mu. Oh, that would be cool if we could have top half be a graph and bottom half be the printouts. That would be pretty cool. All right, so I did do a clean, which means it deleted all of the cached stuff, which means that it will probably take a minute for the build to work. It's a little bit slower. When it has all of that cached stuff, that stuff actually speeds it up quite a bit. I can usually do a build in like under a minute pretty regularly if it has the cached stuff, and then it takes a little longer when it doesn't. It's still a lot faster. I used to build inside a virtual environment on Windows, and then I was inside of a Linux virtual environment, and that took like 3 to 5 minutes to build every time. It was not very fast. This computer is quite a bit faster, but it is still kind of a complex thing. It takes a minute to build. I think Scott's down pretty quick, which obviously, like, it's really good for all of the rest of us as well, and Scott. It's really good for him, but it's also really good for all the rest of us if Scott is able to more quickly create builds, right? The faster he can iterate, the better it is for all of us, basically. I think his computer is super fast. Mine is pretty good, but it is like a laptop, so it's not quite as beefy as it could be. Definitely like it a lot better, though, than my last one. Linux is temperamental some days, but it's better overall. Oh, there we go. Stop stalling now. All right, so we got our build. We can go cd build PyPortal. PyPortal. We can go cp firmware.uf2 media c portal boot. Yeah. Okay, so also I need to look up the code, and I think the code might be slightly different. So they ended up. Display.root group. First you have to do display show none, and then procure display root. You want that to disturb the display. If you don't want that to disturb the display, you can turn auto refresh off. Reset terminal XY. Resize the REPL. This is also a super sweet new feature, right? This is like a sub feature of this, is being able to resize the REPL. Finally added code to reset the REPL to its default position and size whenever display show none is called. Okay. So I think slightly different. Finish copying. Seemed like it finished copying. Nice. Anecdata is going to try it out for us. Did it go? Did it disappeared? Uh-oh. We went in here. We copied this. Thing. Reset? Bootloader? Back to known good. 7-1. Okay. Now let's go. I use CP. Here. Okay. This is definitely new. 110 kilobytes. Pretty close. 908 is the current build. Alright, let's double tap the reset again. There we go. Or not. I saw it on the display for a split second. I don't think I had it showing. I have no HDM0. And it's not showing up as CircuitPy, right? Okay, Anecdata says as far as they know, request ignores all headers except location and content length. So the stuff about like keep alive and things like that maybe would not be a problem then. I went back to portal boot. Go back to 7.1. I guess I'm gonna try to build again. Seemed like it checked out main. Let's check out main. Oh, buddy. He's chasing. Boy got himself a plastic string. Plastic spring. Yeah, see, I wonder if I didn't get a full update. I wonder if that update didn't work, actually. Yeah, sending request failed. So they tried with the a different device, which is cool, actually. It's nice to be testing out a bunch of these different ones. They tested with this, a rover. Solo, a rover. Seems to be something fishy with the address info. Neradoc says... Actually, I have a Neradoc take a look as well. I think Anecdata and Neradoc both do a fair amount with Wi-Fi stuff. With the address info. What's the address info? With the adder info, maybe that's a different thing. Maybe they're not talking about something from my screenshot, but maybe they opened it up separately. I don't really know what adder info is. I'm not super knowledgeable on web stuff. I have kind of enough of an understanding to get by and do what I do, but I certainly don't know. I never had much formal training for web stuff, certainly, so most of what I've known, most of what I do know is all like practically learned by doing and making things. And I tend to work fairly high level as well, so I would be using some kind of requests library or some kind of server framework that is handling all of this stuff without me worrying about it. So yeah, I think I did not get a full update because this is still running, so I did a fetch before I... Yeah, see here I did... Oh, we got a lot of these I didn't notice. Did a fetch. You know what I also didn't do though was a sub modules. Make fetch sub modules. What's it called? I finally made myself a alias to update these, and then it got changed in the core to make it not fetch Raspberry Pi because it was bigger and it took a while. Like make file submodule. Did I spell it wrong? Buddy. It's crazy cat time. Why is it not make? What is fetch submodules? Isn't that the new command? I'm in the wrong folder. All right. Good. There we go. That's a little better. Okay, let's let all of these update. I'm gonna build main, load it on my PyPortal, make sure it runs, and then I'll go back to the PR branch, build that again, put it on there, and hopefully it'll run this time. Tonight has been a troubleshooting intensive stream. Which is nice. I think it's good to show, like, stuff does not always necessarily just work the first time. A lot of folks are doing a lot of good and hard work to try to make things as easy as they often are. But it takes work to get them there. Sometimes it's not as easy as we want it to be, so we got that. We're going to go back to ports. We're going to go to atmel. We're going to go to build. No, make board equals PyPortal. I'm going to do a clean again, just because the last one was messed up. I don't want any chance of anything in there messing up the new one. We're going to make it again. How long it took last time. One of the things my terminal does is spit that out on the time. I don't know if it's too far back that we won't see it anymore, though. No, we should see it. So we're here. What did it take us? 3 minutes, 1 second to build last time. All right. Actually, while that runs, I'm going to run to the restroom and then come right back. BRB. Today on Will It Build? Okay. And we're back, and it's still running. Should be done pretty soon, though, I think. Probably head out after this. I probably won't spend too much more time tonight. Eat some food, some games. There we go. 2 minutes 52. Built it faster this time. Have it open still. So this one was main. So this just verifies that my build environment is all good. Seems fine. Came back up to Nico Kitty, just like we expect. And now let's go back to here and go GHPR list, GHPR checkout. Is it 5954? 5954. Already up to date. So that switched us over to REPL Wrangler. Now we're gonna do build again. I'm just gonna do it without clean. This should make it much faster. And hopefully it will have the new stuff. It's unclear to me when specifically you need to make sure to use clean and when you don't. So I just kind of use it superstitiously sometimes at this point, but I'm sure there's probably a better way that it breaks down, like certain stuff that it updates versus stuff that it doesn't might make a difference. No adder info is normal. Maybe IPv6 only. Oh, okay, I think they're saying no, the adder info is normal. Would HTTP 1.1 versus HTTP 1.2 a difference? Because it does have that just here. guessing this one will be about a minute, but maybe it'll be a little longer since there were actual like changes, maybe specific. I don't know if they were specific to the PyPortal, probably not, but maybe in the Atmel port or something. Need like a little mini game or something. I want to start. I need to figure out Twitch bots. So I want to make some things that interact with Twitch chat, like maybe on the Matrix portal. Maybe I could have a Matrix portal set up somewhere and have a camera on it, and then I could pull that in and put it in the stream screen, and then maybe have like commands in the Twitch chat that can manipulate the Matrix portal. Tell it like what to draw roughly or something. We'd have to do some kind of parameters on it, because obviously we can't just let people draw anything and everything. What did we end up with? It didn't track a time. Oh, there it is, 2 minutes 30. So it really was not, it was only about 20 seconds faster. Okay, so we're here, 7:25. That's the new one. Double tap. Copy. Here, paste. No, something I think might be wrong. So I should have pulled it up on the camera, but does it show up when I reset? Reset once? So I saw it for a split second. Sanity check. I'm building for PyPortal. I'm using a PyPortal. Copying from PyPortal. Build PyPortal. Ports Atmel SAMD. Build PyPortal. Make PyPortal. Yeah. Okay, just double check. Here. Copy. We have no drive right now. Oh, no, we do. Portal boot, there it is. Okay, so try to keep it on the screen this time. So I saw that. I saw that printout. You see that printout before we got to the NicoCat? I saw that after it got done updating. So let's do this where it stays on camera. So I'm gonna double tap reset. We're in the bootloader. I'm gonna scooch this over. You've seen me paste this a few times, I think. Really nothing more to see there. The camera screen is where the action is at. So I'm gonna scooch this. I'm gonna copy that build. I'm gonna paste it onto here. It's pasting. It's done pasting that blink. It blinked, it rebooted, it printed that stuff, and then all of a sudden it's gone. Disconnected here, no CircuitPy drive, no TTY ACM0. That would have been the same thing we saw in TO there. So it comes to life for a split second after you load. But then it's pretty much gone afterwards. Can we see that? Interesting. 89A0F37, that's this code here. This is helpful, being able to just backtrack real fast in the stream and get this screenshot. Alright, well, we're probably not going to be able to get it running tonight. I'll leave a comment here on the PR to let him know that let him know what it was doing for me on the PyPortal. Might need, like, get it on the debugger or something. So I'm going to also try reset button once. Doesn't really do anything. Didn't connect the drive. Try reset button once. So we got the blinks. We got the yellow blinks here. We got a red blink here. All that seems normal. We didn't see anything on the display, I don't think. Reset it again. I saw the blinks up there. And we never really got anything on the display. I'm going to try cold boot. Unplug. Replug. Nothing. One more thing I'm going to try is bootloader. There we go. We got portal boot, and then I'm just going to press reset from here to go back to CircuitPython. I saw the blinks, but nothing after. Interesting. All right, well, we'll leave a comment here. I'm still super excited to play with this for sure. But I think that's going to probably wrap it up for now. I attempted to build and run, build from this branch, and run on a PyPortal. But it seems that I'm getting a hard crash. Immediately after the UF2 finishes pasting, the device reboots as normal. And for just 1 second, I can see the serial output on the display as normal. Jeez. Just went tearing past me and then leapt down the stairs. Which is a stairway with a turn too, so he needs to be careful or he's gonna face plant the wall. Where did I save that? Oh no. like intersected display here. But immediately after this, display goes dark, and I never see CircuitPy or serial port connect on the PC side. On subsequent resets from the button and unplug, replug, nothing happens on the display. It stays dark. But the LEDs, the onboard LEDs do seem to blink as normal. I'll put here just to add, it only shows this very briefly after pasting UF2 and only once. After it disappears first time, it doesn't ever get shown again till back to (7.1.1) and then back to the version from this branch. Attempted to build from this branch and run on a PyPortal, but it seems I'm getting a hard crash immediately after the UF2 finishes pasting. Device reboots as normal, and for just 1 second, I see the serial output on the display as normal. Immediately after this, the display goes dark, and I never see CircuitPy or the serial port connect from the PC side. It only shows this very briefly after pasting the UF2 and only once. After it disappears for the first time, then it doesn't ever get shown again until changing back to 7.1.1 and then back to the version from this branch. On subsequent resets from the button and unplug replug, nothing happens on the display. It stays dark. The onboard LEDs do seem to blink as normal. Okay. Leave that. Extra information here. My guess is that there might be something that guess is maybe that there might be something that is causing a hard crash on this device. I'm not sure if kmatch supervisor init set terminal. This probably gets called. You know, I wonder if if our CodePy was just print hello world. If our CodePy didn't try to use display IO, I wonder if that makes a difference. Okay, that's going to be the last thing I test. I'm going to do that and then I'm head out. So let's go back to 7.1.1, change to CodePy to just print hello world. Because maybe it's when it tries to initialize display IO, might be when it goes south. So if we just print, then maybe it won't. It's on the other screen, but it's pasting, I promise. Hey Keith, thanks for joining. Helpful to watch your workflow even with the hiccups. Gives me a bit more confidence to try and go deeper into the dev tools. Yeah, I think that's one thing that I've really found, like, honestly kind of nice about streaming is, like, there's something refreshing about failing publicly, right? It's nice to see that, like, not everything is always going super swimmingly. Sometimes things goes wrong. At the end of the day, like, the stuff we're doing is still super complex in the grand scheme of things. The fact that it's been made as easy as it has kind of lures us into a false sense of security sometimes, but it's still really complex stuff, especially when you bring internet and Wi-Fi into the mix. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. So I find it actually really refreshing to be able to let people see sometimes the struggle and the troubleshooting technique to get through some of that stuff. I think that's really beneficial to put out there for folks. I've found it beneficial watching folks on streams work through problems, and so that's one of the things I wanted to be sure to do. It's not the most glamorous thing, but I do think it's an important thing to show. So we're back to a working one. I'm going to save this to CodePy to just print. Interesting. I'm sure I copied this over before, but just in the habit of always updating this before I blow it away here. Okay, got our printout there. So now I'll be curious to see, I'll do this all on camera again, that way we can refer back to the stream video as well. Mostly an experimental learner, so streams help. Yeah, I agree. A lot of the knowledge I have had has come from just diving in and going. I've done a certain amount of schooling, but honestly, most of the schooling, anytime more recently, is stuff that I had learned before, but was just kind of cementing. And so yeah, it's like a lot of trial and error for me. Hello world, so this is on, so we're gonna go back to bootloader, and I'm gonna do it all on stream again. This way we can, if we do get that split second, we'll be able to go back and look at what was on it. I don't have my build open anymore. Let's do that. It's atmel build. Where? Here we go. But yeah, we're gonna scoot this over. We're gonna minimize this. Now we're gonna paste it. It's finished. There it is. Nope, same thing. I'll run it back real fast, but I do believe that it was same thing. It showed just the basic normal stuff, but not the print hello world. This one might be behind enough that I'm already really for it. Here we go. Okay, see it here. Tricked by the mouse. Okay, there's the blinks. There it is. Okay. Yeah, it looks like the same. We got our standard device printout. Same commit hash. And then nothing else, just darkness after that. Okay. Alright, well, I wondered. It's good to know that it's not related to the display IO initialization. Something else going on there. Check back in on the chat here and help with. Try to curl with 1.1 and it was fine, but OS error -2. doing this. Look that one up every time. Somebody else for a different thing. Socket EAI no name. Doesn't work even with the IP address in CircuitPython. But that's a cert issue. Both subdomains work in curl, but neither in CircuitPython. Failed SSL handshake. Okay. This is one of the most awesome things about CircuitPython and in the community, really. What I was going to say, one of the most awesome things about CircuitPython is the community. Like, I got stumped by this. I threw it up in the chat, and there's folks, like, willing to help out. This is, like, an invaluable resource to have people who will take a couple of minutes to look at what you're doing and try it on their own device and think about it and talk about why it might not be working. This is like an incredibly valuable thing. I'm understanding is maybe Neradoc put a print statement inside of here to print the error. And it was a OS error specifically, which is one of the two being caught. And an exception here. So one thing I'll say is be worth adding a verbose or debug word arg. Have it print as much info as it can. Best. So it looks like they helped narrow it down quicker. Not quicker, I should say. Oh yeah, hey Neradoc. Neradoc has found the stream, it looks like. Thank you, by the way, for checking this out. I really, really appreciate you, both you and Anecdata. I don't know if Anecdata is watching, but I really appreciate you all taking a minute to check into this, look it over, and try it out, and try to figure out what's going on with me. So it looks like we found the error. The actual root error is that we failed the SSL handshake whenever we try to request from this server. So something about the way... either about the way that the server does the handshake or about our certificates if we don't trust the right certificate, something like that. Again, not ever formally trained on any of this stuff, so I may use the terminology wrong. I don't know if it's actually a certificate we're trusting or if we need to have it saved or whatever. I truthfully don't know all of the details, but something about the handshake is not succeeding, which is then causing the request to fail. So we would have to figure out... I did, Keith, in the Twitch chat there, I did try over and over. So in the code that this originally lives in, it's on the mag tag. And it's set up as a one-shot, like, try the request, and then if it fails, reset the device. So that causes it to, like, try again, basically. And I did let that one run a couple of times. Oh, I see. Actually, you said nix that, but I'm explaining anyway. But we did let that run. It ran it ran several times. I don't know how many times we looped it up to. And it never seemed to succeed. I did notice also in requests there is a little bit of... where was that? We had requests pulled up earlier. Ada, fruit, CircuitPython requests. I noticed in requests there is also a little bit of retry logic. So it's actually internally retrying a couple times as well. So this does have retry count, and it does happen to be 5 as well. It does do the 5 retries, and then this actually is where I think Neradoc linked to say to put some print statements. The line numbers are slightly different because there's a couple extra statements. No, line numbers are different because I'm just in the wrong spot. That was actually down here. So what does this one do? Oh, okay. This is getting the socket, wrapping the socket, and then connect is here. And so connect, these are the places. Neradoc added print statements here to print the error, and then that's what came out was the SSL handshake. Surely this... No, okay. That would make life too easy. I mean, we could have a proxy server that fetches at HTTPS and then turns around and serves at HTTP. That's not ideal though, because that gets us right back to having a server in between. Stack trace. I think I will eventually PR requests. I would love for it to be able to print this kind of stuff without modifying the library. It'd be cool. I actually tried earlier. Didn't work obviously because it doesn't exist, but I tried. Do we have this code still? Oh, this is the test one. I tried like inside here doing like debug equals true or verbose true or something, but this doesn't actually exist. I think this would be really cool though if we had this argument and then it would do this stuff basically. For like any error, it would try to print as much as it could. Landing in different points of it in a flowchart would be helpful while debugging. To no request retries might be a good idea. Edit some code now that I know that. Add some sites that work by turning off the cert checking and some that don't. Interesting. All right, well, I think I'm gonna call it a night for now. But I do appreciate everyone watching along, everyone in the chat, especially Anecdata and Neradoc for helping me out there by looking into this network issue. Yeah, networking is not what I know well. Explanation is formative, yeah. Totally agreed there. But yeah, I'm gonna head out, so I'll be back, I think, Saturday for sure. Saturday morning will be my next stream. That's kind of guaranteed that I'm committing to 10 a.m. Central Time is my normal streaming time on Saturdays. What else? I'm hosting the meeting this week, so for folks that are interested in CircuitPython in the community, if you check out on next Monday during the day, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 1 p.m. Central Time, is what it is for me, is the CircuitPython weekly meeting. I'll be running the meeting this week. This will be my first time, so I'm pretty excited. And yeah, if you like this type of stream and such, you can follow me on Twitch. And sometimes I hop on, like tonight. I didn't really plan on streaming tonight necessarily. I just hopped on because I was working on something that I thought might be interesting, and I figured some folks might want to watch along. So that's what we ended up with tonight. So you can follow me on Twitch if you're interested in that type of stuff. But yeah, I will catch you all later. Thanks for watching.